Let's go. Another huge, huge win for the Seattle Mariners. They walk off the Houston Astros. They win the series, or they take the first three games. Well, yes, it's a series win. They have a chance to sweep the series tomorrow. They've won the first three against Houston. They improved to 31-26 on the year, remain 3.5 games up in the AL West. I'm going to break it all down. Let's go. What is up? What is going on, everybody? Welcome back and welcome into the Seattle Mariners post-game recap. As always, you guys know the drill. Smash that like button. It helps out tremendously. Leave your comments on the game below and hit subscribe if you are new here. Cannot thank you all enough. All the new subscribers, and the ones that have been with me since the beginning. I appreciate you all so much, and all the kind comments. I cannot tell you guys, when I say it means a lot, it really, truly does mean a lot to me to see all the kind comments that people say, like, oh, this is my first stop after a Mariners game to come watch your post game. That blows me away. It truly does. And I hope if you're someone that's thinking about starting a channel, it can inspire you a little bit, because I am not an expert. Last time I played baseball was junior high. So I am not an expert on it. I'm just someone that loves the game. I think I know the game pretty well, probably compared to like your average everyday person on the street, but there are plenty of people that know more about the game than I do. But I hope you guys see that, I'm a fan like you guys. And sometimes I go back and forth. I'm not always right. I've been wrong a lot, but I'm going to give you my takes on it. Try to be honest, try to be level-headed. And yeah, I'm going to be pretty excited when the Mariners win the first three games of a 4-game set against the Houston Astros. So thank you all for the support. But Mariners win this one 2-1 tonight. Improved at 31-26. Like I said, they remain 3.5 games up on first place. This was a huge series for Houston. And again, until that little E, the elimination E, I don't know why I keep going like that for an E. I guess I'm trying to make an E, is by their name in the standings. I'm not counting them out. But you got a Houston team that came to this series. And listen, I'm not in any locker room or clubhouse. I don't know what's said. But it's been a tough year for the Astros, top to bottom. But the AL West has been pretty mid up until this series. And we can say it still is. And I guarantee you, Houston looked at each other. The players, coaches said, listen, this season has not gone the way we want it to go. But we're about to go into Seattle. And if we can take 3 out of 4 or sweep, we're in this thing. We're either ahead in the division or we're a game back. We're right back in this race. No question. All it's going to take is one good series. And I'm not going to lie, I was a little bit nervous for this series because of that. I just had this vision of Houston coming in here, Tucker going off, Yordan, Altuve, their pitchers getting dialed, and their pitchers have pitched pretty well in this series. But, Houston, I still think is a good team. I think we all still think that's a pretty good baseball team. So, they're going to get hot, and they've actually played better baseball of late up until this series. But, excuse me, again, the late night games, just kind of had that feel like, are they going to come in here and maybe do this? And listen, I'm as optimistic as they come. But the Mariners have had a lot of letdowns in series. Not so much this year. They've actually been pretty good. They've played good teams pretty tough. But just over our lifetimes, like we've seen the Mariners lose big series. I can even go back to 2007. You guys remember Lollapalooza when the Angels came into town for a big series and the Angels just walked them up and down the field. I was about to say for 60 minutes, for 9 innings, for all 3 games. So I always have in the back of my mind, big series, can the Mariners step up and win it? And they have. And they've won the series. I want the sweep. I want 4. I want all 4. I'm fine with winning 3. I can stomach that because that means Houston came in and lost ground, but I want one more tomorrow. I think we all do. But yeah, I mean, that is an absolutely, like I said, just, like I said, if you're looking from an Astros perspective, this is a major series for you. Now, again, we're in May, but we're also, I feel like I'm repeating myself from yesterday. We're almost in June here. Like we are getting to the 60 game mark. Like, yes, there's a ton of baseball left. We saw the Mariners last year, like 8-9 games back, and did make that up by September. Now they lost the lead. So again, won't count the Astros out, but a huge series for them. They needed more than the Mariners, truthfully. If you look at it from a standings perspective, they're the team that really needed this, and it's the Mariners that have stood their ground and won all 3. Has it been pretty in all 3? No, the offense is scuffling. But did you expect them to get anything big off Justin Verlander? And listen, I know Verlander isn't necessarily the Verlander of old anymore, but you can still see the stuff is there. And also, too, this is where, I'll go a little bit past the analytics. I'll look at him and say, Verlander hasn't been great. But Justin Verlander's a bulldog on the mound. This is a huge game. And he went out there thinking, I've got to get this W tonight. I have got to get this win because it's been a tough first 2 games. And Verlander's a guy that can just turn it on and have that dominant stuff. And, the Mariners were able to get a run off of him. The pitching staff did what they needed to do and held the Astros offense, which has been good this year, to just 1 run. And the Mariners find a way to get that second one run across. Am I happy with the offense? No, I'd like them to be better. But again, Houston's thrown the ball well this series. Valdez, after the first inning, on Monday, battled and threw the ball well. I'd like to see a lot more off Hunter Brown because Hunter Brown has not been very good. But I thought Hunter Brown threw the ball very well yesterday. And again, it's easier to tip my cap after the Mariners win. That does help. And then tonight, Justin Verlander was on his game. He was on his game. The Mariners found a way. Canzone hits the home run, and the pitching staff keeps him in check. That's what you got to do. And they found a way to win. And they found a way to win it. Yes, we need the offense to be better. 100%. 100%. And I think it will. I think you'll see here as we're going to start facing teams that don't have very good pitching staffs. I know Houston's hasn't played great, but I think it's still got some good talent. You're going to start playing some teams with lesser pitching staffs that I'm going to expect to see more out of the offense here. But, I'm pumped. I am just so pumped up for what this team is doing right now. It's amazing with baseball. It's just so back and forth. Like last week, they beat the Yankees in the first 2, and I'm on a high from that. I'm like, let's go, best series of the year so far. Then they lose 4 in a row, and I'm like, I feel as worse as I felt about this team all year, and now they've won 4 more in a row. I don't know if I'm going to make it through 162. I don't know if I can do it. I'm going to need you guys to keep me going because this team is going to give me an ulcer or something at some point. You know what, though? Not that an ulcer is good, but in terms of those emotions, good, because that means this team is in contention and doing enough to at least keep us invested into them. You know what I mean? Like in 2010, I was already done. 2008, we were already done with that season by this point. So, there was no frustration because it was over. This is what good baseball and, what's the word I'm looking for? This is like playoff baseball feels like. 2 years ago, the Blue Jays game, we were probably all, stomachs dropping back and forth that whole game. But that's what we want. We want that feeling. That's playoff baseball. That's that high you get after they win these type of games. And yeah, the losses hurt. They do. But, I wouldn't trade it. I would not trade it because there's nothing worse than watching your team be like 19-40 and you still got the games on because it's baseball, but not even caring what happens. So this is what comes from caring. This. Oh my gosh, what a win. Let's get into the box score here for the Mariners. I'm exhausted, so if I'm sounding a little loopy tonight, that would be why. Pitching George Kirby, and my voice is going to 6 innings, 6 hits, 1 run, 1 earned, no walks, 8 Ks. I thought Kirby was absolutely fantastic tonight. Some of the hits I thought were kind of very BABIP-y, just kind of dropped in. Myers' RBI single wasn't hit that hard. Pena had an infield hit, which put runners at the corners in the 5th that Kirby wiggled out of with a strikeout of Bregman. And then he got Myers to ground out. I thought George Kirby was great. And I thought he did a better job hitting the corners. Instead of just pumping it in right down the middle, he still didn't walk anybody, and again, it's not that I want Kirby to walk more people. I just, wish at times he'd be a little bit more willing to go outside the zone. And I thought he did tonight. He was willing to go to some 3-ball counts against some of these hitters. And he pitched fantastic, got Kyle Tucker to strike out 3 times. Jordan had a couple hits, but listen, if you're keeping Jordan in the ballpark, I'm okay with it. If Jordan wants to Ichiro his way through a series, so be it. He can have his singles. But yeah, I thought George Kirby was absolutely outstanding against a good lineup. Anytime you have 8 strikeouts, no walks, you've done something right. So good to see Kirby. I kind of thought we'd see that from Kirby. I just had that feeling. That we'd get that sort of George Kirby masterclass performance tonight. Trent Thornton was outstanding, struck out the side in the 7th. Again, I will defend my boy Trent Thornton. He is a good reliever. He's just got to figure out how to get out of situations with inherited runners on. Because you see the stuff. Like Trent Thornton is good. I will die on that hill. He is a good pitcher. But there's just something when there's guys on base that he has trouble getting around it. And it could just be small sample size, and it's not a big deal. And he's absolutely capable of doing it. or maybe there's just something going on that he just has trouble with it. But either way, Thornton was absolutely fantastic tonight in his inning. Gabe Spire wasn't great, but got through it. He gave up a hit to Altuve. Nice catch by Dom Canzone on the Tucker lineout. That thing was hit pretty hard. Does strike out Yordan Alvarez, which is fantastic. So I don't think Spire was amazing, but got the job done. And then Austin Voth gets the last out of the 8th inning by striking out Jeremy Pena. Andres Munoz comes in the 9th inning, does Andres Munoz things, and sets the lineup, sets the Astros down in order. How about Mike Baumann in the 10th inning? That was an impressive performance to come in, just his second appearance with the Mariners, or maybe it was his third. I don't know if he pitched in Washington or not. He may have pitched a game in Washington, but his second or third performance of the year, he gets, who did he get out that inning? Let's see. It wasn't the heart of the order, but it was, either way, to get, anytime you get out of those extra innings without giving up a run is huge. Got McCormick to fly out. Victor Caratini flew out, and then got Altuve to ground out. Altuve, a dangerous hitter in that spot. And then you definitely don't want Altuve on because then you go to Tucker and Yordan Alvarez. I thought Baumann was outstanding. Good to see. Good to see. Hopefully he can find a role in this bullpen and really help contribute. That was a nice inning by Mike Baumann. Like I said, extra innings is tough. That's a tough spot to pitch. Look at the Mariners in the bottom of the 10th. Canzone grounds out, moves a runner up, and boom, you're a sac fly away from winning it. Now, it's a little bit different when you're the road team. I think you try to play more for 2 runs versus 1 because you kind of feel like 1 may not be enough, but a great job by Baumann there. I was talking about it with Mariners Sir a little bit. By the way, the Mariners pitchers didn't walk a single batter tonight and struck out 14. Fantastic performance by the pitching staff. I was talking about it with Mariners Sir a little bit, and we were kind of going back and forth talking about, should you bring Munoz in the 8th to face the heart of the order? And then we were kind of like, do you save Munoz for the 10th because you've got the ghost runner? And do you go to Munoz for that because that's more of a tough situation? How do you manage that? I might have gone to Munoz in the 8th against the heart of the order. I think I would have done that if they had the lead. I think in a tie game, that was the right decision to go to Spire and Voth there. And I think you could have gone, Baumann or Voth in the 9th. And I get maybe saving Munoz for the 10th, but there's no guarantee you get a 10th inning. It's tough because you want to manage ahead. You have to look ahead, but you also don't just want to manage for innings that don't exist either. It's a tough battle. And it's why I'm patient with these decisions. Now, there was a decision Scott made tonight that I'm going to get on him a little bit for, but it wasn't with the bullpen management. And I think sometimes people look at it and go, well, I would have done this, therefore the way they did it was wrong. I might have managed it a little bit differently, but that doesn't mean the way they managed it was incorrect either. There can be multiple good ways to work that out and multiple successful ways to get that done. So, I thought it was fine. And Spire did a real nice job on Monday against Tucker and Alvarez as well. So I also don't mind for that reason throwing him back in there in that spot. So I thought the bullpen was managed fine. Let's move on to the lineup. Then I will talk about the one decision. J.P. Crawford 0 for 4, but gets the big one, the sac fly to win the baseball game. Nice at-bat by J.P. Listen, we've seen the Mariners in those spots sometimes struggle. Got a ball, was able to drive it. You knew off the bat that was ball game. Bases loaded, so you're a little worried about a double play in that spot, But a nice job by J.P. Crawford there to get the run in. Dylan Moore in a tough game, 0 for 4. He's cooled off a little bit since coming home. Not surprised. Demo's another guy, like most of the Mariners, going to be a bit of a streaky hitter. Not Demo's best game, but Demo's one of the guys that's earned a pass. Julio 1 for 4 is a nice hit off Josh Hader in the 9th inning to start it off and get a little rally going where it looked like the Mariners might be able to win the game in the 9th inning. Ty France 1 for 3 and a walk. So good to see Ty had the base hit in the 2nd, then worked that walk in the 9th inning. Nice at bat there by Ty in the 9th. He was having a little trouble catching up to Hader's fastball. He spit on some good pitches. Ty's put together some really, I've been saying it a lot, but last couple weeks, Ty's really put together some nice at bats. Even a game like today, like I said, it's going to go a little unnoticed, but a walk and a hit, on base twice on a game when the Mariners had 4 hits and 4 walks altogether. So 8 base runners in total. Ty is a 4th of those. So nice game by Ty overall. Rojas was 0 for 3. Ryan Bliss pinch hits for Rojas in the 9th. So the 9th inning, Julio gets the 1-out single off Hader and then gets to 3rd on a steal, and the catcher, I think it was Diaz at the time, threw it away. Ty France walks, and runners at 1st and 3rd for Ryan Bliss. I think you're getting a little too cute with the right-handed lefty matchups in that situation. And that's a tough, and even if you like Bliss a lot against lefties, it's his third game. I think against Hader, I think I think I'd rather go with Rojas there. I would go with Josh Rojas in that situation. I think he's a better, listen, I don't think it's guaranteed that Rojas does anything against Hader. Very possible he strikes out too. Rojas is probably going to make a little bit better contact there than Bliss. At least I have more faith that Rojas is going to. Rojas isn't slow. So, I mean, if he hits a grounder, there's a chance he can beat it out. I just think you're going to get a little bit better at bat in that situation from Rojas. And I think that's where people that have a beef with kind of the platoons. And by the way, just so everybody knows, that's not just Scott. That is also comes from upstairs as well. So that is not, and look, I mean, Scott ultimately makes the decision, but those things are not just him. At least from what I've heard and people I've talked to. I thought it was a bad call. I thought you should have gone with Rojas there and let Rojas bat. Do I think it's a fireable offense? No, of course not. I think it's just a little, getting a little too cute. I think it's just getting a little too cute in a situation like that. I think that you kind of have to throw the handedness out the window. I could get it if it was the sixth inning and it's 3-1 or something, and you're up and you want to add on some runs. You want to give Bliss a shot there or something like that. Fine. I could get Bliss pinch hitting there for Zavala or something like that. But I think in that spot that Rojas I think you're better bet. I think he's your better bet in that situation. Tough matchup against Hader for Bliss. I mean, listen, he got the count back to 3-2. I didn't think he had a terrible at bat. It's just that outside of a double play, a strikeout is the one thing you don't want to do there. And it was going to look tough to put the ball in play. I think the hope was maybe a walk. I mean, for me at least, I think the hope for the Mariners was going to put the ball in play. But yeah, not a terrible at bat. I mean, Hader's tough. Not only is he throwing 97, I imagine it's really hard to pick up on from where he throws the ball. So again, I don't think every situation, one thing that gets me is when I see, some fans I think are either way over here or way over here. Like, you don't have to defend everything Scott does, and I won't do that. I'll call it out. But it also, a bad decision there doesn't mean that he should be fired either. And that's my take on it. I think it was a bad move, and the Mariners still won, and it's okay. Like, I get why they did it. I just don't think it was the right decision in that spot there. I think Rojas gives you the better at bat. Haniger was 1 for 3 with the walk on base twice, did strike out with the bases loaded in the ninth. Again, against Josh Hader, just a tough matchup. What makes that line drive hit from Julio so impressive? And it's crazy because Hader threw one slider. Everything else that whole inning was fastballs. He threw the one slider to Julio that got hit, and then it was all fastballs. Clase scores the winning run, essentially, I think, for the second night in a row. I think last night was the tying run. That's a good role for Clase. I'd like to see him in Tacoma getting at bats more regularly. And prefer maybe like a Cade Marlowe in that role with the speed. But, I mean, if you got Clase on the big league roster, I think that's a good spot to use him in, and his speed has paid dividends. Dom Canzone, 1 for 4 with the home run off Justin Verlander. Great to see. Canzone also had a great at-bat in the 10th inning. It's going to kind of go under the radar a little bit, but his ground out advanced Clase to third, especially when the other team doesn't score in the top half in extra innings. That's a nice job by Canzone. I'm not going to say like a great at-bat because it was one pitch, but I mean, just trying, not trying to do too much. Perfect. Just grounds it out to second, move the runner up. Nice job by Dom Canzone. So the home run and a nice at-bat in the 10th inning. Mitch Garver 0 for 2 caught today. Mitch Garver catching. Interesting to see Mitch Garver behind the plate. I actually thought he did a good job behind the plate, and Kirby was solid. I didn't really notice Mitch Garver, and if you're not noticing him, that means that he probably did a pretty good job. I thought the framing looked fine. I didn't pay a ton of attention to it, but I'm curious how it grades out. But here's the thing. I was against Mitch Garver kind of doing catching because the goal was to kind of preserve his bat, right? Let him DH so he doesn't get don't let him catch so he stays healthy and his bat stays in the lineup, for more than his, 110, 115 games, more than that. But here's the thing. His bat's been terrible. So if you think that him catching something just banged outside, hopefully everybody's okay. If you think catching is going to improve his bat, then fine. That's what Scott said before the game. We think that might get him going offensively. I'm not as concerned about preserving his bat at DH right now because he struggled so much at it. So Now I don't have a problem with him catching a little bit, because if you think it's going to get his bat going, then so be it, I guess is what I'm trying to say there. 0 for 2 didn't really do anything today, but I'm also wondering what it might mean for Sebi Zavala. If they think Garver can do it and DH a little bit and then catch once a week, maybe they make a move there and they think they can get another bullpen arm up or another bat that could replace Sebi Zavala. We'll see. I'm curious what they do tomorrow, because Cal gets like the first 6 innings off but plays. Does Cal get another full day off tomorrow and Zavala plays? Or is Cal in there for the full game? I'll be curious to see how they handle that. Cal was 0 for 1, did walk in that 10th inning. And Luke Raley was 0 for 3 with a walk as well. After Canzone grounded out, you had Cal work a walk, Raley walked, and then J.P. Crawford gets the sac fly to win it. Huge, huge win for the Seattle Mariners. I feel like I'm repeating myself. I am absolutely exhausted, guys. What a series. How much fun. I mean, it's fun, right? Like, yes, I'd love to see this team win a 10-0 game for the old heart a little bit, but that's just not how Seattle sports works. I mean, it's just not how it happens for us. I will absolutely take this. The last 3 games have been a ton of fun to watch. Soak it up when this happens, because, they will lose again. It's going to happen. They're not going to win the rest of their games. They're going to drop a couple. But man, what a statement this week has been for this team with Houston coming in. Absolute huge statement from this team. Let's go get that sweep tomorrow. You have a huge pitching matchup advantage tomorrow. Honestly, the first game and this game were the ones that I thought would be tricky. I actually don't think Kirby's necessarily worse than Verlander, just we know what Verlander can do. And then Monday, I thought, Valdez, Miller, maybe slight advantage Houston there. Yesterday, advantage Mariners. And then I think tomorrow, pretty big advantage for the Mariners with Logan on the mound. So let's see if Logan can get back into that W column. Remember to drop a like, comment, hit subscribe. I feel like it was a little over the place with this one. I'm exhausted. Been a long day, but a great W to cap it off. Take care, everybody. Love y'all. Go Mariners. Peace.